Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning for our yoga practice. I'll invite you to start in a comfortable seated position today. Feel free to sit on a blanket or a towel if you'd like a little extra support under your sits bones. You can feel free to cross your legs, but I also want to offer that you can change how you're seated at any point. If sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable or really working in your body today, you can just find a different way to sit, extending your legs out, kneeling, sitting on a couple pillows, whatever works for you. As you make your way into this comfortable seat, try to find length in your spine, rooting your tailbone down toward the ground, lengthening and stacking your vertebrae all the way up your back, and feeling a slight lift at the crown of your head. So we're creating lots of space and length along the back of the body. You might notice if you're sitting cross-legged and feeling a little tight that there's a tendency to kind of lean forward with your chest, your upper body, kind of that pull forward. And what that does is it pulls your back forward out of that midline. So just slowly lean back a little bit. It might feel like you're leaning backwards, but most likely you're actually sitting up a little taller and a little more upright, stacking your shoulders above your hips. Closing eyes or softening your gaze toward the floor. We'll begin just with 5 long breaths at your own pace, just bringing awareness to your breathing and trying to lengthen your breath little by little. You can breathe in and out through your nose, or you might choose to breathe in your nose and out your mouth, sighing out, kind of pressing a little more air out and releasing some more energy. Try not to force your breath, simply allow your breath to flow naturally. Inhaling slightly longer, exhaling slightly longer. Relaxing through your belly, trying to soften around where your waistband is. Relaxing through your jaw. You might keep your eyes closed or flutter your eyelids open. And as we begin our movement, we'll start really slow and gently, circling the upper body over the legs. So just starting to reach your heart over one of your thighs and circling back toward the wall behind you and over in the other direction. Your heart can pass through center and reaching forward. You can make these really big or really small movements. We're just working to circle the torso around the hips, rocking around the seat. Notice if you're just holding your breath a little bit here and try to continue to breathe naturally. Notice if your head and shoulders want to move a little bit more organically or independently as you circle. At your own pace, reverse reverse direction of your circles. Your practice may look a lot different from mine, and I want to encourage that because everyone here has a different body and a different history in their body. The goal of yoga is not really at all about what the pose looks like. It's about how it feels in your body and in your nervous system. Does it still let you breathe? Does it feel comfortable enough? Let's start to make our way back to a neutral seat, making any adjustments you might need, maybe recrossing legs or extending one leg out if you need to. Draw your shoulders up toward your ears in a big shrug, and then circle them down and back on your back. Let's find a couple more rolls like that. Shoulders draw up toward your ears, then open across your heart as you draw shoulders down your back. Find a few more at your own pace, trying to keep your jaw relaxed here. That low jaw can just hang heavy. Your next round, as the shoulders relax down your back, just let them settle, finding a little bit of length in your neck. With your jaw soft, begin to lower your left ear toward your left shoulder. And here you have an option to reach your right fingertips onto the floor, just tenting your fingertips onto the floor or onto a block or some support there. And if you'd like to add on again here, the other arm can come up and around, holding onto your right ear. And giving that right ear just a gentle massage and working all those acupressure points. Just helping to relax your nervous system. Notice what happens in your body as you squeeze those areas on your ear. Just little squeezes all over your ear. Keep your head where it is as you let your left hand release back down onto your thigh. Release your right hand back onto your thigh. And slowly begin to sweep your chin forward and down toward the center of your chest. Keep your shoulders on your back. As you make your way through center, draw your right ear up toward your right shoulder. So we're just coming into the second side. Jaw remains soft here, shoulders can relax. You might notice that right shoulder wants to like shrug up into the ear, but instead of that, we're going to let both shoulders just be soft, hanging down off the shoulder joints. Option to add on one or both hands here if you liked either of those options on the first side. Go ahead and take them now. Slow, smooth breath. Keeping your head where it is, bring both hands back onto your thighs. And just as before, we're going to slowly sweep chin down towards center of your chest. And then coming up the other side, left ear toward left shoulder. And let's just find some gentle sweeps of your head side to side. So tracing that same line with your chin. As you move your head in these big C curve shapes, keep your neck long. The crown of your head is gently reaching forward or up, whatever direction you're moving your head, so that there's some length created in the sides and the back of your neck. The next time your chin comes to the center of your chest, let's pause there. Just allowing your head to relax, gaze down towards your lap. Using an inhale, gently bring head back up to neutral. And exhale there, settling back into your neutral seat, Sukhasana. Use your next inhale to begin to reach arms out and up. Palms can meet above or in front of you. As you exhale, press palms together, draw your thumbs to your heart center. Again, inhale, really reach out and up, lengthen through the sides of your body. Exhale, press palms together, slide your shoulders down your back. Inhale, sweep up. Join the palms. This time, exhale, just bring the heels of your hands to the top of your head so your fingertips are pointing up. Try to press the crown of your head up into your hands a little bit so we're lengthening the neck. Then bring the hands behind your head, interlace fingers to catch the back of your head. And start to open your elbows as you open your chest. We're supporting our heads here with our hands. You might start to lift your gaze just a little bit up toward the ceiling. Keep those elbows spreading out wide. Long breath. Using an exhale with a gentle nature, we'll release those fingers. And here's my little kitty, Fiona, come to visit. Let's see if she can behave herself today. Inhale, arms sweep out and up again. This time, exhale, float your right hand down beside you. Reach left arm up and over, finding a side stretch. Breathing here, keep pressing the left side of your lap, left sits bone, down into the earth. Reach up and out of your left hip. Try to spin your left pinky down toward the floor. Notice if your neck feels stiff or tight here. If it is, try to soften your jaw. Let the crown of your head reach the same direction as your fingertips. Using your next inhale, slowly rise. Both hands meet above you. Exhale, left hand floats down beside you, reaching up and over with the right hand this time. Same stretch, second side, keeping the neck and jaw relaxed. If it feels difficult to breathe, that's an indication that perhaps you're a little too far into the side bend. So you can just adjust and allow yourself to back out little by little until it feels more available. Let's inhale, float left hand up to meet right, fingertips and gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, let's make fists and start to circle your wrists. Just noticing any popping or cracking that might happen, a little bit of energetic release from the wrist joints. You can go in both directions. And then give your hands and wrists a good shake. And then we're just going to flick the fingers like you have a little bit of water on your fingers. Just flick, 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 flick. Beautiful. From here, let's find our way onto our hands and knees, setting up for our table pose. You might choose to bring a blanket or towel under kneecaps if you're practicing on a hard surface. Protect your bones. As you make your way into a table pose, we're really focusing on stability, grounding the palms and finger pads down, bringing your wrists beneath your shoulders, trying to take lots of space in between your fingers And gazing back between your thighs, make sure your knees are underneath your hips. Feet are in line with your knees, tops of your feet pressing down into your mat. From our table pose, we'll begin with some cat and cow movements. Inhale as you lower your belly and lift your gaze. Let your tailbone reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, belly to spine, round your spine. Curl tailbone under as you tuck your chin. And then inhale again, rolling shoulders onto your back, reaching heart forward for your cow pose. As you exhale, belly engages and draws upward, rounding through your back. Continuing for a few more rounds, just following the pace of your breath. Start to find your way back into table pose with a neutral spine. Plant your right palm into the center of your mat. Bring your left hand onto your chest. As you inhale, start to lift your left elbow. Peel your heart open to the left, using that hand on your heart to help your heart spin to the left. And then if it's okay in your shoulder, reach your arm up toward the ceiling, opening your heart to the left wall. Now you might notice your hips want to swing way over to one side here. That's a natural phenomenon in the body as we try to compensate in these bigger stretches. Very softly, try to guide those hips a little back over your knees. Might not be perfect, but we're not going for perfection here. Press down into your right palm to rise up out of your right shoulder joint. So we're not just collapsing into that joint here. One more big breath in. Using an exhale, we'll switch sides, floating the left hand down. Take a moment to reset, bringing the left palm into the center of your mat. Right hand comes to your heart. Inhale, right elbow starts to lift up, peeling your heart open to the right wall. Option to reach right hand toward the ceiling. Again, just being mindful of those hips, helping them stay stacked over your knees as much as is available to you. Breathing into your shoulders, into your heart. As you exhale, float your right hand back down, table pose. Walk your knees out to the edges of your mat. Join your big toes to touch behind you and start to rock hips back toward your heels any amount. We'll find our child's pose by walking hands forward, lengthening through the side bodies, bringing forehead to rest on a block, a pillow, a blanket, or the floor. We do want the forehead resting on something in our child's pose so that we can really start to relax and settle into those hips as the hips press back little by little to meet the heels. Using an inhale, lift your gaze, make your way back up onto hands and knees. Bring your knees back under your hips. And you have two choices here for plank pose. You can walk your knees back a few inches so that you have to really engage your abdomen to keep your hips lifted. Otherwise, the hips will just fall here and will collapse into the low back. You want to engage your abdomen, keeping hips lifted. Second option would be to tuck your toes under and make your way into a full plank pose, like you're going to do a push-up, pressing palms down into the ground, hugging navel up and in. We'll find 5 breaths wherever you are, lengthening your breath little by little. Using an exhale, knees come down, and then we'll lower belly and chest at once all the way onto the floor. Setting up for Cobra. Roll over your toes so the tops of your feet press down. Hug your elbows in towards your rib cage. Drawing shoulders onto your back. Inhale, heart lifts just an inch or two off the floor for a little Cobra in this first round. Keeping your palms very light on the floor. You might even choose to float your palms off the floor. Reach the crown of your head forward, keeping your neck long. Using an exhale, gently float palms and forehead to the ground. 2 breaths to rest before we come up again. At your own pace, we'll come into a Cobra. You might find that same Cobra, just a little lift with the heart, or if it feels okay in your body, press palms into the floor, draw your mat toward you with your hands to reach your heart forward and lift just a little bit more. Make sure you keep the hip points, the front of your hip bones on the floor for Cobra Pose. Legs are strong here, tailbones rooting back and down. As you exhale, roll your heart down. Let's bring one of your cheeks down to rest. Send your arms down beside you. Turn your palms up toward the ceiling. This time we'll find 4 breaths resting on the belly. At your own pace, gaze down toward your mat. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Press the tops of your feet into the ground, engaging your thighs. Then use your inhale to lift your heart, drawing your shoulders together and pressing that fist toward the wall behind you. If this does not feel available in your shoulders, don't clasp your hands. Simply find your locust pose with your palms turned down and the fingertips reaching toward the back wall. So either option is fine, just depending on your body. And you might choose to add on your legs, lifting thighs, calves, and feet off the floor, pointing your toes behind you. Noticing your breath. You got this. 4 more breaths, but take rest before then if you need. As you exhale, slowly release, bring the other cheek to rest onto the floor. And then at your own pace, palms come under shoulders. Press yourself back up onto hands and knees and back into a child's pose. So you might join your big toes together here, rocking hips back, lengthening the sides of your body and resting your forehead. If child's pose feels relaxing in your body, then this is an option for you to take anytime you need a break from our movement practice. And you can just come here on your own and then rejoin our practice anytime you're ready. Inhale to gaze forward, draw yourself back up onto hands and knees. You might stay in table pose, or if downward dog is okay in your shoulders, tuck your toes under. Keep your knees bent as you press your belly and chest toward your thighs, lengthening through your spine. And then start to send your tailbone up toward the sky as your heels press down toward the floor. Nod and shake your head. Let your tongue hang out, breathing out from your mouth for a breath or two. The idea in downward dog is that we are rooting down with our palms to rise up with the tailbone. So the more you push your mat away from you with your palms, the longer your arms and torso are going to get. If you're in down dog, take a slight bend in your knees. Let's everyone gaze forward to the front of your mat. Take little baby steps all the way up to the front of your mat. Keep your hands planted as long as you can. We'll all meet at the front of our mat with our feet hips width distance apart. Finding a flat back when you get there. Hands come up to your shins. Drawing shoulders back, lengthen through your spine. Just check in with your chin here. Notice if your chin's reaching forward, and just remember we want the crown of the head to be what is extending toward the front of the room. As you exhale, bend your knees generously, let your upper body fold forward over your legs, and then we'll find our rag doll, interlacing hands into elbow creases. Allowing your upper body to spill forward over your legs. If you'd like to find a little movement, you might choose to sway your upper body, swivel your hips. Coming to center, release your hands toward the floor. Inhale, flat back. Hands press into shins. Keep a little bend in both knees. Keep your spine where it is. Bring your hands to rest on your hips. So our back is parallel to the floor. We're very strong through our thighs. We'll all use an inhale to press down into your feet and rise with a flat back the rest of the way to standing. Exhale when you get to the top. You can release your hands down beside you into that mountain pose, Tadasana. Just check out where your feet have landed, making sure they're hips width distance or a little bit wider is okay, if that feels more stable for you. Toes should point forward or a little bit out to the side. Some of our hips want our feet to be pointing more outward. As you inhale, start to reach both arms out and up. As you exhale, we're going to float the left arm down like you're holding a giant beach ball over to the left, finding that side bend. Inhale, lift that beach ball up. And exhale, hold that beach ball over to the right side. So we have to be strong through our core. As we inhale, arms lift. Exhale to your left. Inhale to lift. Exhale to your right. We'll do one more on each side. Just find your own pace. Follow your breath. Your next inhale, both arms reach up, palms meet. Stay standing as you exhale, thumbs to heart center. Feet still hips width distance. Going to start to sink our hips down, sending your weight back into your heels. Reach your arms behind you for airplane arms in chair pose. So just like you're sitting back in a chair, try to be light in your toes, heavy in your heels. Reach your fingertips toward the wall behind you. If you'd like a little more heat building in this exercise, you can choose to sweep your arms forward and up, lifting your heart as you sink your hips lower and lower. Checking in with your breath. You can do hard things. We've got a few more breaths here. Your next exhale, sweep arms behind you, airplane arms. Inhale, sweep arms up as you come to standing, palms meet above you. And exhale, thumbs to heart center. Let your thumbs rest against your sternum. Your energy, your awareness move down into your feet, sensing that connection that you are sharing with the ground, with your yoga mat, with the earth. At your own pace, we'll find our way into a warrior two position with the right foot forward. You can leave your blanket across your mat because we will be coming down onto our knees again. For warrior two, you can just step across your blanket. You want your front foot at a 12 o'clock, straight forward, with your knee bending over your front ankle. Your back foot might be more at a 9 o'clock or a 10 o'clock. We don't want that foot to be at like an 8 o'clock because then the hips are not really in a very safe position. So that back foot is pointing either straight out to the left or at a little slight angle forward. Generous bend in the front knee, strong through your core. Let's extend arms out, shoulders stacking above your hips. Gazing over those front fingertips. We'll find some movement here to help our joints start to open up and the muscles start to loosen. Start to reach your right hand forward, reaching your side body over your right thigh. And then reach your left arm back, leaning back just a little bit, letting your hips rock. Find your own rhythm here, trying to move through that whole spine, find some freedom through your low back, through your hips. Keeping a bend in your front knee. Next time you reach your arm forward, let's stay there, reaching forward, leaning over the right thigh. Then bring your right elbow or forearm to rest on your right thigh. And start to reach your left arm straight up toward the ceiling, left palm open toward the left wall. Side angle pose. Press down firmly with the outer edge of your back foot. If it's available and would feel okay in your body, you might choose a longer stretch here, sweeping left arm overhead. So you have a long line between your left fingertips and your left heel. Check out those right toes. Notice if they're gripping on the mat. And just try to loosen up a little bit, grounding with your whole foot. We'll have another option here. That's all it is, an option. If you want to add on some more heat, free your right arm, hold that giant beach ball at a diagonal over your right thigh. Pin your navel to your spine, strong abdomen. Start to build some fire, build some heat. Lengthening your breath to match whatever's showing up in your body. Inhale, lift that beach ball straight up. Exhale, warrior two. Beautiful. Let's begin to straighten into that front knee. Try not to lock the front knee though. Keep a micro bend there. This time we'll reach right arm forward again. Just as before, really reaching the side body over your right thigh. Then simply pivot your shoulders, bringing your right hand to rest wherever it lands on that right shin, or maybe it's on a block inside your foot, that works too. Left arm reaches up again for our triangle pose. And we have been working through our core today in these standing poses. So if you'd like some more of that here, release the weight from your right hand. Let your right palm just float inside your right shin or calf. We're just simply playing with where we're holding ourselves. Are we using our arms, our hands, or are we using our abdomen, our core strength? And there's no wrong answer. It's just what feels right for you in this moment. As you inhale, start to reverse triangle, sweeping right arm all the way up. Left hand rests very lightly on your back thigh. We'll find our warrior two on the exhale, bending again into that right knee. And one more little transition here. Flip your front palm over. Inhale, reverse your warrior, keeping right knee bent. Then exhale, be mindful of your back knee as you windmill your hands down to frame your front foot. Pop up onto your back toe, squaring your hip, and lower your back knee to the floor. If none of that made sense, that's totally fine. Just come into a low lunge. We're gonna meet here in this low lunge. Right foot forward, right knee stacking above your ankle. Your hands might be on blocks or just on your fingertips here. From low lunge, plant your left palm onto a block or the floor. Wrist falls below your shoulder. As you inhale, start to reach your right hand up toward the ceiling for a twist. Your gaze can move to the right wall or up towards your right hand. As you exhale, float your right hand back down. Frame your front foot with both hands. Then inhale, let upper body rise for your low lunge. Now the arms might float up next to your ears, or arms might need a rest and palms can rest one on top of the other on your right thigh. Just want to offer you that chance to check in with yourself and see how you can be the best you can for yourself today. That doesn't mean pushing harder. That means how can you best meet yourself in your current state of being. Checking in with low ribs and belly. Try to have some engagement there. So we're drawing awareness in toward the midline of the upper body. Using an exhale, float your hands back down. However makes sense for you, we'll work that right knee back beside the left knee. Find your way into either a knee plank or full plank, the top of a push-up, engaging belly and arms. 4 breaths, keeping that heat building. Using your 4th exhale, either lower through your knees or lower in one piece all the way onto your mat on the ground. Roll over your toes. Keep your legs strong. Inhale, cobra, coming up any amount. Exhale, roll your heart down. Kiss your forehead to the mat. Inhale, roll back up, cobra, coming up any amount. Exhale, roll down. Forehead lightly touches the ground. One more. Inhale, rising up with your heart, strong through your legs. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, push yourself back up through hands and knees. We'll move back into our child's pose. Big toes together, hips rocking back, forehead resting on something. Long and full breaths, breathing to fill and renew every cell of your body, rejuvenating, refreshing, relaxing. Taking as much time as you need, we'll start to make our way back up into either table pose or downward facing dog. I'm going to turn around on my mat so that the other side of my mat will be the front now, so I can stay angled and facing toward you all while I move through this second side. Table pose or downward dog, whichever feels most available for you at this point in your practice. 5 long breaths. Find a little bend in your knees, gaze forward, and take little baby steps up to meet your hands. We'll meet in a flat back at the front of the mat. Shoulders drawing back, neck long. Exhale, belly to thighs, folding over your legs. Letting head hang heavy, arms relax down. From here, we'll start to sink weight back into the heels. Hips drop low. As you inhale, lift upper body, chair pose, arms sweep up. Exhale, airplane arms. You can stay here or find a little more movement with me. Inhale, arms sweep up, lift your heart. Keep your knees bent. Exhale, airplane arms. Sink that weight back into your heels. Again, inhale, sweeping up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, airplane arms. Let's inhale, sweep arms up as you slowly come to standing. Palms meet. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a long breath here just to settle, reconnecting with your feet on the ground. Feel free to close your eyes if that helps you tune inward a little more easily so that you can observe the effects of your practice on your body thus far. We're observing and witnessing from a place of non-judgmental awareness and just watching yourself. Noticing, is there more heat in your body? Do you have more awareness of sensation, of your circulation? Has your emotional state shifted or not? As you're ready, flutter eyes open, make your way into Warrior Two, second side. This time your left foot is forward, bending into your left knee. Right foot is now aiming toward the right side of your room. Nice lunge in the front knee, arms reaching over legs, shoulders stacking above your hips. Gaze starts to move forward over your front fingertips. Again, if you'd like to find some movement here to loosen up with me, start to reach your right hand forward, reaching your side body over your front thigh. Keeping legs where they are, start to shift back. Right hand reaches back. You might feel your hips sway forward slightly. And then we'll just move through that. Finding as much freedom as you can in this moment in your spine and your hips. Maybe it's the tailbone that's swaying a little bit side to side. Next time your left arm reaches over your left thigh, we'll bring the forearm or elbow to rest on the thigh and reach your right hand up toward the ceiling, opening your palm toward the right wall. Side angle pose. We are working to open the hips, and one thing that helps that is pressing the outside edge of your right foot, your back foot, down into the mat. That helps open up your hip a little bit and engage the outer edge of your leg. If you'd like that second option here, you can sweep your right arm overhead instead, finding a long line from fingertips to heel. And if you want that core strengthening, engage your belly, free your left arm, and hover your beach ball over your left thigh. If this feels challenging, you might come up with what color you want your beach ball to be. Is it sparkly? Is it stripes? What color? What shade? You can use these little tricks to help our body adjust. Mine's giant, pink, and sparkly, in case anyone was wondering. Using an inhale, lift your big beach ball up into the air. Exhale back to Warrior Two. Another breath here, resetting. Begin to straighten into your front knee, keeping a little bend so as not to lock the joint. Shift your left hand forward, reaching side body over left thigh. Then pivot shoulders for triangle pose. So your left hand can rest on your left shin. Feel free to put some weight into that arm, especially if you need a little bit more rest in this moment. And if you need more heat in your body, free your left hand and float it inside left calf. engaging side bodies, engaging abdomen. Pressing down into your feet, we'll slowly reverse triangle. Windmilling your arms so your left arm lifts and your right hand rests lightly on your back thigh. We'll exhale back into Warrior Two pose. Whew. Feeling a little heat in my own system here. It's really nice watching the snow fall and feeling hot inside. Let's find reverse warrior, flipping front palm. Inhale, reverse. Now exhale, we'll make this transition slowly. Windmilling hands down as you come into a high lunge up on the back toes. Then lower that back knee down. If you miss that transition, just meet us in our low lunge. The left foot forward. Plant your right palm on a block or the ground. Try to stack your wrist under your shoulder for stability. Then inhale, your left hand reaches up, twisting your upper body to your left. Bring some awareness to your breathing. See if you can lengthen your exhales by 1 second. Use an exhale to float left hand down. Frame your front foot once more with both hands. When you find your stability, make your way up into your low lunge. And that might mean both hands are resting on your front thigh, giving your shoulders, upper body a little less effort here. If it's available, engage your belly, float arms up, biceps beside your ears. Even though our arms might be lifted, we're still working to broaden and soften around our neck and shoulders. Rooting down with your left big toe and the ball of your left foot. Let's exhale, float your hands back down toward the floor. Now a little different this time. We're going to tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and take as many steps with that back foot as you need to bring it up to meet the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs, release. Bend your knees, gaze forward. Flipping your palms over, inhale as you sweep your arms out and up. Rising all the way, exhaling, hands to heart center. Nice breath in and out. You might even sigh to release some heat, stagnant energy. Final standing sequence. We're going to make our way into tree pose. So this is a balancing pose, and I love to use a wall for a little added support, or if you're at home and you're practicing next to a couch or table, just whatever you have that you might bring a hand or a fingertip to help you balance a little more easily, if that's something you'd like. So you can have one hand on your hip and one on support, or both hands on your hips. Start just by bringing stability into both feet. Notice if your feet are equally weighted. Are your heels stacking under your hips, ankles under hips? letting your tailbone drop straight down like an anchor toward the ground, really trying to be grounded and rooted as we move into our balancing sequence. Stand on the left foot first, starting to shift your weight over to that left side, engaging your thigh, so your kneecap lifts. Come light on your right toes and just bring your right ankle or your right heel to rest against your left ankle. And this is your first option, just being really light on those right toes, but the right toes still on the floor. Other options would be to bring your foot to rest just on the inside of your left calf, or you might give that foot a hand and bring it to press into your thigh. Be very mindful here that you're not pushing your foot into your knee, and the knee doesn't want to go out to the side. So pressing above or below the knee, thigh and foot or calf and foot really push into each other. You might choose to sweep your arms up or sweep one arm up and keep one hand on your support. Playing with this idea in your awareness of your foot rooting down and your crown rising up, taking up a little more space in the world with your body as you extend and expand. This feels too easy for you, then I would invite you to close your eyes and see what that creates as a fun experience with your balance and your spatial awareness. And slowly begin to join your palms together above you. And exhale, hands to heart center. Release your foot. You might need to circle your ankle on the standing leg or give that leg a good shake out of your hip. Just listening to your own body. What's it want to do? And we'll find the same stretch on the second side. So using any support you'd like for this side, and one side might need more support than the other. So just keeping that in mind. Shifting your weight onto your right foot. Bring your left heel to rest against your right ankle. And choose any other option from there if you would prefer another variation. Bringing foot to calf or foot to thigh. Now we do want that left hip opening, so that knee is going to be reaching out to the side. Press your foot and your leg into each other firmly. Option to float hands up. And again, just that awareness of rooting down with your right foot. Rising up with your crown. Closing your eyes if you want to play a little more. Begin to join palms together, if that's okay. And then bring hands down through heart center as you release. Taking care of your standing leg in whatever way you'd like. Let's find our way back up to the front of the mat, feet hips width distance. Inhale, sweep arms up toward the ceiling. Soften your knees, exhale, dive down, leading with your heart, folding over both legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale as you fold. There's an option to flow through a vinyasa here, and that means either flowing through plank or knee plank, Always can bring the knees down if you want. On your inhale, exhale, lowering to belly or halfway down. Inhaling cobra or upward dog. Strong with your thighs, arms straight and strong, heart lifting. Exhale, child's pose or your final downward facing dog of your practice today. 5 more breaths. If you're in down dog and you need any final movements here in your body, you can explore them. Taking your time, make your way down, swing your feet around and come to seated. I do recommend having a blanket or towel underneath you, as we're going to find a round of boat pose, and sometimes that can be a little hard on the tailbone if you don't have any padding underneath you. For boat pose, bend your knees, plant your feet. I'm going to invite you today, if it's okay in your body, to actually bring your legs and your feet together so you can push them into each other. If that's not okay in your hips, keep your feet hips width distance. From there, reach your arms forward and start to lean back just to a diagonal. So you'll notice when you're at a diagonal, because your abdomen will suddenly engage. It'll go, I got to keep you from falling backwards. And that's where we want to hang out. Now you might choose just to stay here, working with that engagement in your abdomen. Or you might choose to lift your calves off the floor to parallel, holding behind your thighs. Again, it's really about our abdomen here. So whatever is allowing you to engage your belly. A third option would be to lift your legs and float your arms, reaching fingertips forward, gazing forward, or perhaps gazing up. Keep length in your spine. And you might play with letting your body start to lengthen a little bit, leaning back more as your legs start to extend. And then coming back up into that boat pose. So these might be really little movements. There might be some shaking happening. You may need to pause and just take a moment of rest, and that's a great option. You can always release and just hold on to those thighs for a minute. Use your arm strength to help. Little pulses. As you're ready, we'll start to lower all the way down onto your back. Resting legs, resting arms, resting head. Give yourself a few moments just to settle onto your mat. Slowly bend your knees and plant your feet. Feet hips width distance. Walk your heels as close as you can in towards your glutes, setting up for a round of bridge pose. When you're ready, push down into your feet. Start to float your hips up toward the ceiling, a little or a lot. Starting to open up through the front of your body, opening those hip flexors in front of your hips and thighs. Your arms might just stay down beside you here, or if there's space, clasp your hands beneath you, walk your shoulders closer together, and let your heart roll toward your chin, coming into a little bit more of a back bend. Knees press forward. Try to soften through your glutes. 3 more breaths. Unclasping fingers if they're together. Curl your tailbone under to roll slowly down your spine, one vertebra at a time. When you are completely down on your back, walk your feet and thighs together and lift your feet, lift your knees. So your knees are about above your hips. We'll take the arms out to a T. I'm going to bend at the elbows because I don't have a lot of space next to my wall here, but you can choose to bend at your elbows, palms turned up, or just extend your arms out to a T. And we're going to find a twist as we lower knees down to the right side. Letting your legs try to relax as much as they can onto the right side. And use each breath to soften your left shoulder more and more toward the floor. For these resting poses, you don't have to worry about looking at your screen. You can simply listen to the sound of my voice and I'll guide you through the poses. Because what we don't want is for you to have to strain through your neck to see something at the end of your practice. So just keep your head relaxing down. At your pace, we're going to move into the other side with this twist, lifting your legs back up and finding that neutral place in center. So you might need to reset your spine a little bit so it feels straight. Knees are above your hips, feet lift, lower knees all the way over to your left side. And then softening toward the floor with every breath. Right shoulder grows heavy. Slowly make your way back towards center, gazing to the ceiling, knees come back up. Plant your feet, find a way to bring your spine into a neutral line. And then we'll join the soles of feet together. Let knees open out to the sides for butterfly legs. Few options for your hands. One option is arms overhead, holding opposite elbows, finding more length and opening through the front and sides of your body. If that feels like a bit too much for the end of practice, bring your hands to rest on your abdomen or your belly and your chest. And simply breathe into that space under your palms. We're moving into the resting phase of our practice this morning. So you might choose to release more effort with every breath, letting go of a bit more tension. I heard this analogy that I really loved, which was imagine that the tension in your body is like footprints in the sand, and your breath can be like the wave that washes to shore and washes those footprints away. Now, often it might take more than one wave to help a footprint disappear back into the sand. So it allows for time for your body to relax little by little. We'll transition from this pose into our resting pose, and I'm going to invite you to just do that on your own time. We'll have about 5 minutes either here or in Shavasana with your legs extended, just resting on your back. But for some folks, this pose feels relaxing, so you can stay here if you want. Soften your gaze at a single point toward the ceiling, or let your eyes close, moving your gaze inward. If you are still in butterfly legs and you notice this is not relaxing at this point, then I invite you to extend your legs and just find a traditional resting pose so that your body can get that release that is so important after we work ourselves out like this. Guide your attention back to your body and to the connection that you are making with your mat. Sensing the support under the back of your head and the back of your body. Take a long breath in through your nose, filling belly, ribs, chest. Then open your mouth and slowly press all the air out, emptying chest, ribs, belly. Slowly bending your knees, make your way over onto either side to rest your body in a moment of transition. The knees drawn in, your head can rest on your bicep of that lower arm. A full breath there, just to transition slowly, honoring this time of relaxation in your system. As if you're moving underwater, begin to press your way up and find any comfortable seated position. Closing your eyes or softly gazing towards your lap. You might just rest your palms wherever they have landed, or join them together at heart center. Lowering your chin in a gentle bow to yourself of gratitude, thanking yourself for your efforts and your energy and your time today. And I hope you will all receive my gratitude for your presence in this practice today. Thank you all. Namaste.